Hey everyone, welcome to your Week 30 U.S. History launch. We are about to approach our second to last project, and the topic is workers versus industrialists. So you're going to be learning a lot about the Industrial Revolution in the next couple weeks, so you can kind of see what that project will be about in a couple slides. So the end of the year is approaching. May 25th is the deadline. I know that some of you last year did work through the summer and things like that, but as far as we know, May 25th is the last day. There will not be the opportunity to extend that, so that's still plenty of time to get your work done. That's about 9 weeks, 10 weeks from now. So make sure you're working hard. I know some of you, here's your finish line is in sight. You've been on pace all year, and you're doing really well. But for most of you, you probably have a path to the finish line similar to this next slide.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked.
All right, so these are some pretty ugly crawls to the finish line. But the good thing is it doesn't matter how ugly your journey was, it's just getting to that end point. So that's the cool thing with Summit. It's all mastery based and that competency base of I just don't know it yet. So we're not there yet. Some of us had a pretty tough journey there, but we have 9 or 10 weeks that we can keep working hard and have a smooth finish to the end of the year, hopefully a little smoother than some of these people. So I think it's a common misperception that people that think that success is just very easy. You just kind of climb to the top and it's a straight path. But what success really looks like is this jumbled mess over on the right. So in the middle is just a total mess. It's all of your mistakes and shortcomings and failures. But that's also the area where you show your grit and your perseverance, and success comes to the people who persevere and show that grit, and they're resilient whenever they fail. They just fail forward and move on. So this is kind of what the Summit Learning Platform looks like. You do make some mistakes, you get your feedback, you keep fighting, you keep moving on. So push through for this last quarter of the year. Your final project is, this one's not your final project. You have one more after this, but this one is a short one. It's on the workers versus industrialists. And your essential question, or the question that you should be having in your mind as you work through this project, is did leaders during America's Industrial Revolution commit crimes against humanity? The project description is after gaining background and context on the Industrial Revolution in America, you will determine if you want to be for the prosecution or the defense for a mock trial. So we're not going to be having a real mock trial. You're going to basically be preparing a script for how you would be either a prosecuting attorney or a defense attorney. So if you're prosecuting, you are saying that you believe that they did commit crimes against humanity and you're going to confirm that and you're going to prove that point. If you're for the defense, you're saying no, they did not, and you're going to try to rationalize and provide evidence that they did not. So you'll prepare a script for your role based off factual evidence, and then you'll read your script and record your presentation, kind of presenting to a fake jury, and just like you're an attorney. So it's really not a long project, and it should be done within the next, I'd say, 4 or 5 weeks. Checkpoint 1 is a witness affidavit. So if you've never heard of an affidavit, that is just a written testimony from somebody that is sworn under oath. So somebody writes down exactly what they think, what they saw happened, and then that becomes evidence in a court case. So we're going to be looking into some affidavits. If you open Checkpoint 1, you'll see it's the witness affidavit organizer, and you might just be a little confused as to what to do. So you're going to be completing and pasting your completed witness affidavit organizer in this space below. So you want to look over, and you can see over here, there's 2 different organizers. So after you get some background and some information, I recommend completing the focus area that goes along with this to get some content knowledge, as well as looking through a lot of these resources. And I want you guys to decide if you're for the prosecution or the defense. So you will go and click on the correct one accordingly. And then I'll show you later, then you would just paste that into this part over here. So some of the resources to pay attention to in Checkpoint 1, you should definitely open up the Crimes Against Humanity resource sheet. It's good to first understand what is defined as a crime against humanity. There's some definitions there. So you just need to get some context and background knowledge before you just dive into this project. You definitely should open up that resource and get a better understanding of what crimes against humanity are. There's also a resource, What You Will Prove. So this is helpful if you are if you're going to be for the prosecution and you're trying to prove that somebody did commit a crime against humanity. So if you're going to prove murder, then you need to show, and it lists here what you should try to show. So this is just a nice guide to really help you along. And then if you're confused what you're going to submit, do you want to get into this? So I'm doing this one pretending that I want to be in the prosecution, meaning I'm going to try to prove that crimes against humanity were committed by the leaders of these companies. So what I would do is, you have to pay attention here that the crimes against humanity are ordered by, they assign each one a letter. So then you can see from the example, this is affidavit evidence that supports the prosecution. So then the evidence, again, is quotes. They put a quote in. They say this is going to prove charge F, other inhumane acts. And then you just put your source over here. So this is where you're compiling the information, but you need to get the information first. Let me go back to the launch. You need to open up the actual witness affidavits. So there's prosecution witness affidavits, and there's defense witness affidavits. So pick the ones that actually go hand in hand. And then this is going to be, there should be 5 witnesses, and you're going to, it's best that you read each one, because again, an attorney does not just pick one witness and go on that. That's never ever going to win a jury case if only one witness was there. You need as much evidence as possible, so you should have evidence from all 5. So that is what I'll be looking for. I recommend printing them out so you can actually see there's 5 different ones. So these are all written testimonies from witnesses, and it's up to you to kind of create your case of what crimes against humanity were committed, or if you're in the defense one, you're trying to prove that they were not committing those crimes. Okay, so I just want to put on this really short video to help you with an introduction to the Industrial Revolution. This should help give you some background information that might help you pass the industrialization focus area, as well as give you some context of how to go about this project.
Industrial Revolution, 18th to 19th century. The economic developments of the 1800s saw the development of agrarian and handicraft economies in Europe and America transform into industrial urbanized ones. The term to describe this phenomenon would be known as the Industrial Revolution, and was first used by French writers but made popular by English economic historian Arnold Toynbee. The Industrial Revolution was underpinned by the Agricultural Revolution. From the mid-18th century to the mid-19th century, agricultural production increased significantly. The huge increase in food output supported the expansion and sustained a large population and boosted trade. The increased use of machines over human or animal power in farming also meant that less farm workers were needed, and they could leave the land to industrial towns. Better metals and richer fuel also contributed to industrialization by creating the steam engine, an integral machine to industrialization which powered factories, locomotives and ships. The new steam engines used coal and iron, both in their construction and as fuel, increasing demand for resources. Roads, canals and railways changed Britain dramatically, connecting Britain and allowing goods to be sent over long distances. Visually, the revolution was clear in the new industrial towns, with smoking factories dominating the skyline. The cities were horrible to live in, overcrowded and dirty with dangerous conditions in the factories and strict rules and punishments. The Industrial Revolution saw mechanization in factories of the textile industry, which was previously manufactured in the home, creating the term cottage industry. Now, production could be increased on a large scale because of new inventions such as the spinning mule and the power loom. The iron industry developed with Henry Bessemer's inexpensive process for mass-producing steel. Iron and steel were key materials for constructing the tools and machinery, steam engines, and ships needed for the industrial progress. Industrial labor opportunities drew people to the cities from the countryside. to such an extent that in 1750 only 15% of the population of Britain lived in towns. By 1850, over 50% of the entire population of Great Britain lived in either a town or a city, and by 1900 it was 85%. London had 4.5 million people, Glasgow 760,000, Liverpool 685,000, and Manchester and Birmingham 500,000. Great Britain was the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution and was the only mature industrial economy for a long time. Historians have speculated that this was because, as an island, there was relative peace and stability for Britain compared to mainland Europe. Rather than spending on a large defensive standing army, capital could be spent on other ventures, and there was confidence for investors. Native resources were also abundant and readily available for initial technological developments and inventions. Engineers and inventors were also respected and encouraged in British society and were backed by wealthy patrons. A powerful navy and an empire bringing in vast wealth from its colonies also contributed to the catalyst for industrialization before others. Nevertheless, Germany, France, Switzerland, Belgium, and the United States soon emulated Britain's industrial change, and by 1900, Britain would no longer be at the top, with the United States as the world's leading industrial nation in the 20th century.
Okay, so I know that was mostly about the revolution in Great Britain, but those same principles and the same ideas were transferred over to the United States during our Industrial Revolution. But the main things to focus on there is the switch from an agrarian society, meaning the farmers, switching from an agrarian society to an industrialized society. So when we did that, we took a lot of the farmers and the people living in the country, we were urbanized. They all moved, a lot of them moved into the cities. So there was still overcrowding and really, really poor conditions, especially for immigrants. There was an increase in immigration from European countries because there were more jobs over here. And then really just also, child labor and things like that was a big part of the Industrial Revolution, things that you're going to be learning about soon. For week 30, which is March 21st to March 27th, you should work on mastering the industrialization focus area and submit checkpoint 1 of the Workers versus Industrialists project. Something exciting to share with you guys, we are doing a grade level competition called Focus on the Finish, and it's a competition between all of our 7th, 8th, and 9th graders in the Summit Learning Platform. It's going to run from today, March 19th, through Friday, April 27th. What we will do is pick the winner. The winner will be the grade with the highest point total by April 27th. So we have gone in and we've tallied up, we've tallied up all of the completed focus areas and projects to date. And so anything done from this point on is going to count towards your point total. So we want to see in the next 6 weeks which grade can complete the most stuff. So 1 point for mastered focus areas, and you get 2 points if you turn in a green and get a project green. Okay, so that means you're doing grade level work. Participating members of the winning team will receive a free sheets item coupon. I know that might not seem like a big deal, but I have made them turn into about $15 before. So you go, you can get a salad or a sub, you can get double meat, double cheese, whatever. There's no exceptions. It takes it, you can do whatever. So there are no rules. We also, that again will be for participating members. So just because you're in that grade, if you did not complete anything or at least try during that time, you will not receive anything. But also, if your grade does not win, but you did participate, we will put your name in a drawing for additional prizes. So friendly competition. Then every Monday from here on out, you will see an updated chart to see where your grade is and who's in first, second, and third place. And my prediction right now, I looked at the data from earlier, and I think 8th grade is going to be tough to beat. So I think you guys might have it, but don't give up. You got to keep working. If you're somebody who has already finished most or all of your focus areas, reach out to a classmate who might be struggling. I recommend trying to message some of your classmates, seeing if there's any way you can help them. All right. Your reflection for this week: how can you help your grade level team win the Focus on the Finish competition?